Once I went through Steam and searched for games to play when I suddenly stumbled upon a game named GRIMMS Hollow. A cute little indie game that's for free, mind you, and only goes for about 3 hours. I like the art style, so I decided to give it a try. I mean, how bad could it be? I did not expect that. And till this day I wanted to talk about it. So here I am, at long last talking about it. If you like Undertale and Deltarune, you will probably like this game too. And before we jump into it, I'm gonna put a disclaimer here. This game contains topics about grief, death, and losing a loved one. Don't continue if this could be too much for you. Here's the concept. So in GRIMMS Hollow you play as Lavender, a teenage girl that died and is now trapped in the hollow. If someone ends up in the hollow, they either become a spirit, meaning they are too weak to move on, or they become a ghost. Lavender ends up a reaper. Therefore, you gotta run around reaping ghosts, collecting spirits, so you can finally move on. First we're gonna talk about the battle system, because that's the part I liked least. It's timing based, which is like, my brain is constantly running at 400 ms. How exactly are you expecting me to hit that? There isn't much more to it besides that there are different attacks that you gain the more you play, and unique enemies that, to be honest, I don't even wanna reap. I mean, look at it! It's freaking adorable! Also, skill tree, which is a skill tree. Explains itself. The soundtrack is a banger. It's not anything groundbreaking, but I'd say it's above average. The best part about this game are definitely the characters. Spoilers ahead. Every character is charming in their own way. For example, there is Grimm, a powerful entity who's bound to be the head of the Reapers. He's a fucking sweetheart! I love him! Grimm is basically the dad of the Reapers. He takes care of them and even offers Lavender some tea and cake. I absolutely adore him. Other than that, there's also the baker, which takes my cake for best character. Get it? Cause he's a baker. And Timmy. Who is Timmy? Well, that's where we transition into the story. As previously mentioned, Lavender is a girl that died, ended up in the hollow, and now has to collect spirits to be able to move on. But there's a twist. In one of the caves she finds her brother, and he turns out to be a ghost. Since Timmy ended up a ghost, Lavender would have to reap him, which she obviously refuses to do. But there is a twist to the twist. See, in a conversation with the Reaper, we find out that there's in fact a possibility for ghosts to come back to life, if they have a soul, which Timmy happens to have had. One ghost apparently stole his soul. So Lavender decides to try and keep Timmy hidden from the other Reapers and fights her way through the caves so she can find Timmy's soul and lead him back to life. Along the way, the baker gives Lavender some company, sent by the Grimm to make sure that she doesn't get into trouble, leading to probably the best conversation in the whole game. Baker has been there for a long time, and the longer the Reapers stay there, the more humanity they lose, until there's eventually nothing left of what they once were. At this point, Lavender realizes that the same is happening to her. The Reapers get a mask from the Grimm because, quote, many of us became heavily disturbed when we looked into the faces of others. Oh boy, this is kinda dark. A few ghost reapings later, we finally find the ghost that stole Timmy's soul. And then nothing bad happens and everyone gets a happy ending. I wish. If you're interested in this game, then please go check it out now. It's free on Steam and only goes for about 3 hours. Now I'll go into big spoilers. We finally find the ghost that stole Timmy's soul, fight him and defeat him. Then Baker comes out of nowhere, freaking bonks us and steals Timmy's soul. Lavender chases after the baker, having to reap some more ghosts on the way, and somewhere in between there's gonna be another conversation with Timmy, which is pretty heavy, and I'm not crying, you're crying! Fuck you! When we finally reach the baker, he stands at the gate through which one can return back to life. Well, if you have a soul, at least. All that's in the baker's way of getting a second chance at life is Lavender, resulting into a pretty cool fight. Now after this fight there are 4 endings. The first and most common one is where you haven't reaped enough spirits and lose, resulting into the baker passing through the gate, and with no soul to keep Timmy together, he starts to morph. Grimm appears to help Lavender out, but after seeing the now hostile Timmy, he freaking reaps him! Right in front of Lavender's eyes! In the second ending, the same happens, with the difference that Lavender can move on since she collected enough spirit energy. Third ending is where you beat the baker and Timmy gets his soul back. He can go back to live, but Lavender can't because she doesn't have a soul, nor has she collected enough spirit energy to move on. So she sits in front of the gate and starts crying, coming to terms that she's truly dead, having to remain in the hollow until she can move on. In the final ending, after you gained enough spirit energy, Lavender and Timmy go through together. Lavender moved on and Timmy came back to life. And that was Grimm's Hollow.